What's up everybody, Superworks fan here for another weekly update video. So I just want to thank you guys very much for all the positive responses to the GTR review. That was a ton of fun to film, and that is indeed what I was referencing in last week's update video when I said that I had a pretty cool car to review for you guys. And so yeah, that was a lot of fun. Fastest car I've ever reviewed on the channel. And so yeah, another really cool car review coming this upcoming week. So I was planning on posting the Renegade review next week, but I was fortunate enough to get my hands on a turbo 4-cylinder Camaro that I don't think there's hardly anyone that has a review of them just yet, and they've kind of been holding them back. They haven't been producing. They've just been making the V8s and V6s, and they're now starting to produce the 4-cylinders. So I want to get that review up for you guys as quickly as possible, since there's not really a whole lot out there yet. So that'll be coming on this Wednesday, and then the Jeep Renegade review will be the following week. And then the week after that will be the car that I'm currently driving, which is the 2016 Dodge Charger SXT Plus all-wheel drive with the Rally package, which gives it a few extra horsepower. And my first impressions of it so far, it's really nice. I mean, obviously it's the least sporty of all the Chargers, and if you want faster Chargers, there's lots of options out there. But for, you know, a nice commuter car that's comfortable and good for hauling people around, I mean, this is great. I love kind of the old school roots of the Charger. You know, it's still a rear-wheel drive based platform versus, you know, all the other cars this competes with are all all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive, and this is just a really cool option, and it's really nicely equipped. I love these, you know, cream leather seats and everything. It's actually really nice in here, given what it is. So really like it so far. But yeah, that's basically it as far as my first impressions. So stay tuned for that. In addition to other feature videos coming, there will be a couple exhaust videos hopefully coming, at least one exhaust video coming up here soon of an exhaust that I just filmed today actually. And in addition to that, I'm going to be reviewing a couple different dash cams here over the next week or two. I got two new dash cams sent to me that I'm going to review for you guys. And so yeah, that's it as far as upcoming stuff for the channel here. But yeah, I'll send it back to me at the news desk for this week's news. Right, for this week's news, the biggest news that a lot of BRZ and FRS fans have been waiting for, and that is a facelift for the FRS. But now, you know, since Scion has been killed off, it is no longer called the FRS, of course, and they have given it the proper name we all hoped they would give it, which is the 86. So this is for the US, the new 2017 Toyota 86, which I actually really like the restyle. I mean, it's very, very slight. They literally just changed the front bumper. The headlights are slightly tweaked, and you got the side fender thing, which is similar to the BRZ style, and then you have new taillights in the back. All good improvements, I think. The front bumper is a little iffy to some people, but I really like it for the most part. I think those new taillights are really cool looking as well. And everyone was hoping there would be more power with this update, but wait for it, 5 more horsepower and 5 extra pound-feet of torque. That's it. So we're up to 205 horsepower and 156 pound-feet of torque. And the kicker is that's only on the manual transmission versions. The automatic has the same power for some reason. It's you know, the same 200 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. So only the manual gets the 5 horsepower bump anyway. And they said there's additional tweaks that they say will make it quicker. They're almost like making excuses. They're like, well, they said they changed the gear ratios in the 6-speed manual so that'll give it additional performance. That's straight from Toyota. It's additional performance because of the ratios. Maybe it's going to be shorter gearing or something to help with 0 to 60 times, things like that. One cool feature is they've added hill start assist control. So, you know, the BRZ I used to roll back on hills. Now it won't do that with this new hill assist, and so that's nice. It also has new shock tuning and new spring rates, and yeah, that's basically it. So 5 more horsepower. We can keep our fingers crossed that Subaru will do something a little bit more dramatic, but we're assuming there's going to be a restyle of the BRZ. I mean, we may see that in New York as well. That may come later on down the road. But this Toyota version, it's going to start deliveries in the fall, and so that's when you'll be able to get your hands on it. They didn't really detail anything else as far as interior changes or anything like that. All we have are 2 pictures here, and that's it. So at least it's something, but come on. Everyone was hoping for at least more. I mean, you can even slap on the TRD parts, give it the TRD intake, TRD exhaust. You can get 5 extra horsepower that way too, and at least get it up to 210. But this is what we have, and so it is what it is. But keep our fingers crossed that Subaru drops a WRX motor in it or something else like that. But I wouldn't hold your breath for that either. Other Scion news, though. The final Scion has been unveiled. It's going to be the TC Release Series 10.0. And as you can see, they're only making 1,200 of them. They're going to be in this red color and has a special tweaks like all the other Release Series. And looks pretty good. It'll be the final hurrah for Scion. So cool to see that. And for some actual more exciting news of cars that actually do have power, the 2017 Chevy Camaro ZL1 was just debuted, and it's going to be rolled out at New York, but we see it early here, and it looks stunning. It's spectacular. It has a new 10-speed automatic transmission that shifts even faster than the 8-speed that they have. And the most important thing is this is going to be a GM developed 10-speed, but it's going to be shared with Ford, and Ford is going to be using it in the new Mustang for 2018 most likely. That's still that's not confirmed, but that is what everyone's been hearing. Anyway, it's a great transmission, it sounds like, but the big news is this ZL1, which just takes the same motor out of the Corvette Z06 essentially and puts it straight into the ZL1 here. 640 horsepower, 640 pound-feet of torque, and it's really impressive because it's going to be lighter than the previous version, and it's got all this extra power, 60 extra horsepower and 84 extra pound-feet of torque over the last ZL1. I mean, this thing's going to be low 3 seconds 0 to 60 times, I'm sure. It's going to be one amazing performer, and it looks amazing. They even had, they already took some people for hot laps at a press event that they were at, and my buddy Saab Kyle, he actually got a ride in one that was a pre-production model that's camouflaged up and stuff, but he had a really fun ride. I'll give you the link to that if you want to check it out, but really a spectacular car. Excellent job by Chevy. Very, very exciting. Another exciting thing is the new GTR facelift was spied. Now, it's again just another version of the R35. This is not an all-new GTR, and most likely we're going to be looking at a new front and rear bumper yet again. They keep tweaking it every year here to try and keep it fresh, but we still are waiting for an all-new version. This version may have an extra couple horsepower as well, but it was interesting. It was spied being tested alongside a standard Corvette, which is kind of interesting. You'd think they'd at least put it up against a Z06, but that's all we've seen from that. And by the way, we do know a facelift will be unveiled at the New York Auto Show. Nissan officially teased a picture of it, and yeah, we'll just have to wait and see the actual, without the camouflage on next week at the New York Auto Show, but great to see it being spied here. Another thing, now this is still a rumor, but there were some pictures that popped up that may just be renderings, maybe legit, we're not sure, but there's rumors that the Mazda Miata is going to be arriving in New York with a hardtop, and it's going to be a retractable hardtop. Other people said there could be a shooting brake style hardtop instead. We just have, these couple pictures that I don't know if it's just a rendering or what it is, but gives you an idea of what it could look like. I don't know if those are official pictures, though. I think they're just renderings, but cool to see that nonetheless. And so we'll just have to wait and see if that actually comes out next week or not. Another car for New York. A lot of stuff being teased here for New York next week. The next is the Genesis, the new Hyundai brand that's all about luxury. They have a new car called the New York Concept that they're going to be unveiling. It's going to be a sedan they're going to be unveiling at the New York Auto Show here, and looks really striking from this teaser image. It almost looks kind of like the Aston Martin Lagonda that it's really stunning looking, and kind of has a little bit of an Audi flair to it as well, but really a stunning looking car, and can't wait to see the full version as it's unveiled at New York next week. Another interesting teaser is Aston Martin has officially released a teaser image of the supercar they're developing with Red Bull Racing. Yeah, so Aston Martin and Red Bull, they're doing a new hypercar, supercar, top dog kind of thing. I'm guessing like the 177 and stuff like that. And so we don't know anything about it, honestly, except this teaser image that they unveiled. And I don't even know what I'm looking at in this image, to be honest. So I don't even know what that is, but looks very exciting nonetheless. Red Bull Racing, it's serious business, so it should be a pretty epic car, and who knows when we'll be seeing that, but cool to see that little teaser. More stuff for New York, lots of stuff from Mercedes-Benz this week. They officially unveiled the restyle of the CLA. Now, it's just a tweak. They gave it a more aggressive front bumper and rear bumper and some updates on the interior. The screen bezel that they have on the inside there is now thinner, so it doesn't protrude out quite as much as previous versions of the CLA, and looks good. It borrows from the front bumpers of a lot of the other AMG models, and it's a really nice little update there. Another thing from Mercedes-Benz is they've officially unveiled the new GLC 43. So the Mercedes-Benz GLC SUV. This is the AMG version, and like all the other 43s that we've been seeing, we just saw last week the C43 was unveiled. This GLC 43, it has the same twin turbo V6 engine, 362 horsepower and 384 pound-feet of torque in this application. It'll do 0 to 60 in 4.8 seconds, and has the usual AMG enhancements to the interior and exterior to make it a little more sporty, and it's also going to be using the new 9G Tronic transmission, the automatic that they say will be faster than the regular version of the GLC and whatnot. And so nice little enhancement there, and they're just running with this whole 43 idea. But first, before we get on to the other 43 models that were unveiled, Mercedes also was caught testing the GLC Coupe, which is, of course, the same as the regular GLC, except it has the fastback roofline, so it's perfect for those people that want an SUV without any of the practicality of an SUV. And so that's what they have here, and we'll see how well that sells once it officially unveils. But another 43 model, like I mentioned before, Mercedes officially unveiled the 2017 Mercedes-AMG E43. So they put the same engine in the E-Class here, the new E-Class. Now, in this application, it actually has larger turbos and different software, so it's more powerful than the other 43 models in the AMG lineup. So in the E here, it has 396 horsepower and 384 pound-feet of torque, and should be pretty quick. They're saying 4.5 seconds 0 to 60, and it's not over the top bonkers like the E63 or things like that, but it does have that nice sporty AMG look to it, and should be a really nice little improvement. Another thing was spied was the E63 wagon was spied. As we can see from these spy shots, it looks like it's going to be much more aggressive than the 43. It's going to have those larger air intakes in the air dam there in the front, and of course the wagon version is the coolest version of all. And just some spy shots of it running around, and hopefully we'll see more of that soon. Next is a story here for all my Australian friends, and that is that Ford of Australia is doing one final hurrah for the Falcon, which we know is going to be going by the wayside, sadly, and will be no more. All these high-powered rear-wheel drive V8 saloons are going by the wayside, sadly. And so Ford is giving the Falcon one last hurrah with this limited edition Sprint model. They're going to be doing 850 of them with a 5-liter supercharged V8 engine, and then 550 of them with a 4-liter turbocharged straight-six engine. Yeah, so as far as the XR6, which is the smaller version, has 436 horsepower and 425 pound-feet of torque, and the supercharged V8 version will do 462 horsepower and 424 pound-feet of torque, interestingly enough. And both cars also get overboost, though. So in overboost mode, they both have 479 pound-feet of torque, but the XR6 will have 479 horsepower in overboost mode, and the XR8 will have 536 horsepower in overboost. And both are going to be phenomenal, I'm sure. I hope to one day get a chance to drive one of these awesome Falcons that we sadly don't get here in the States. Next is another car that was spy testing, and that is the next generation Porsche 911 GT3, which was spy testing. We know it's going to be based on the Mark II version of the 911, and so it's, fortunately though, unlike all the other Porsches that are getting turbocharged, we're hearing that this is going to have the same naturally aspirated engine. And we hear that on top of that, to really sweeten the deal, it's going to come back with a manual transmission once again, at least as an option, which is really great news to hear. And as we see from the spy shots here, a tweaked front bumper possibly. Shouldn't be wildly different than the current GT3, just have the same minor tweaks that the Mark II version of the 911 has, and should still be fantastic. And so yeah, great to see that. Another thing that was leaked out was some patent shots of the new Honda Civic hatchback in its production form, and we just got the 4 shots of it here. looks really great, and we should probably be seeing that fairly soon as well too. But cool to see that. And for a slightly perplexing story that came out this week, that is that Cadillac, there's a report here that they're planning on doing a larger crossover with 3 rows of seating. It's going to be based on the XT5 platform and most likely be called the XT7. But the strange thing is they already have a 3-row SUV, the Escalade. They're saying this is going to be a crossover, not a truck-based SUV, so it would have a more car-like ride and be a little more comfortable than the Escalade. But I feel like that's going to kind of put the Escalade in a weird position, and who knows how well an XT7 would do. But, maybe there's enough room for 2 full-size SUVs in the Cadillac lineup. I don't know. Speaking of redundant models in manufacturer's lineup, Audi, there's a report here that they're going to be bringing the A5 Sportback to the U.S. because one of their executives was talking about how they're bringing a new version of the A5 to the States, and we already get the convertible and coupe, so we're assuming the Sportback is the only one we don't get. And so kind of interesting that they're bringing that over, though, because, anyone that wants a Sportback, kind of model like this could just go and get the A7, or they could, get one of the other several crossovers. But I guess since the A4 Avant wagon, I think, is no longer available here in the States, maybe this is supposed to be taking its place or something. I'm not sure, but just seems a little strange considering here, at least in the States, the A5 is only a coupe or a convertible. It's a sportier version of the A4 essentially. So adding, 2 extra doors and a hatch kind of just makes it like an A4, except it says A5 on the back, and it's kind of just a little redundant. But that's just my opinion, and so we'll have to wait and see what Audi ends up doing with the A5 Sportback for the States. Other Audi news is the new TTRS Roadster was spied testing, and looks pretty spectacular, and we know it's probably going to have the 5-cylinder turbocharged engine that will be doing about 400 horsepower or so, and so it should be a pretty impressive performer and outperform even stuff like the Boxster and whatnot, at least in the horsepower numbers. And so great to see that. Some Mopar news this week. The first is that they released a new color for the 2016 Dodge Charger and Challenger SRTs called Go Mango, which is this bright orange color and looks pretty great. And I still continue to love all the colors that Dodge offers, including Plum Crazy Purple. I just gotta take my hat off to Dodge for being bold. Other Mopar news is that a Jeep Hellcat, kind of Grand Cherokee Trackhawk is what they're calling it, was spied running around. At least that's what they're thinking this is. All we see is an SRT Grand Cherokee with some kind of camouflage over the front bumper. So, we're assuming it's going to have a more aggressive front bumper, but you would think it would have a beefier hood and really be, look like a Grand Cherokee on steroids. And instead, it looks relatively tame. Even the exhaust pipes are the same as a normal SRT. So who knows if this is just a mule or what's going on here. But hopefully we'll be seeing this some point soon. We're hearing we may not actually see it to the Detroit Auto Show next January. But either way, just exciting that they're developing that at all. So great to see that. And the last Fiat Chrysler news is that the Dodge Neon is coming back, but only from Mexico. So they're going to be importing the Fiat Tipo, I think is what it's called. They're going to be taking that, it's built over in the Middle East, and bringing it to Mexico and badging it as a Dodge Dart there. And so cool for those in Mexico. If you love the Dodge Neon, you'll be able to get one of those again. And so good to see the Neon coming back in one form or another. Back to some supercar news. McLaren has officially unveiled the 570S GT4 and 570S Sprint. So the GT4 is a racing-only race car version they're doing for competitive racing. So it's got the same powertrain as a standard 570S. They've just reworked everything to be a track-only monster of a car, and so very much race prepped, and so great to see that. The Sprint version is going to be more of the track day racer enthusiast kind of version, not for competition but just for going to track days and things like that, but again just a track only, not street legal version. So cool to see those. And coming back full circle, the last 2 stories this week are again about Toyota and the New York Auto Show. The first is they've teased the next mechanical marvel is what they're saying for the Prius lineup. And all we have is a teaser shot of some taillights here that look pretty cool on their own. But hopefully, the rest of the car doesn't let us down considering Prius's history with interesting styling. But we don't know what this is even referencing. Maybe it's a new, Prius V or Prius C or something. Totally not sure, but they're calling it the next mechanical marvel, whatever that is. So we'll have to wait and see, what they debut at New York in regards to that. The last thing is they unveiled the restyled 2017 Toyota Highlander, which gets, refreshed front and rear bumpers and, updated interior a little bit. And the biggest other thing is that it now has a new 8-speed automatic transmission instead of the old 6-speed. So anyway, that's it for all the news this week, guys. I'll send it back to me in the car. Alright, so I'll leave you guys with a nice little acceleration here, like I always do. V6 power. It actually does get up and go pretty well, though, honestly. I was surprised. You'll see in my review when I did my first acceleration of this. It actually kind of surprised me. There's a sport mode here with the 8-speed and stuff, and this rally package gives it 300 horsepower instead of like 292 or something, so not a big bump, but a good amount of power, actually. It gets out of its own way really well. So, yeah, anyway, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Take care.